While in the U.S., gas prices that were already at an 8-year high are now spiking. California yesterday hitting an all-time record, nearly $5 a gallon.
If you notice the price of your gas going up since last week, you're not the only one. The national average for gas prices, unleaded gas, has gone up 4 cents since last week.
It's trying times. Like I say, I'm on a fixed income, and it doesn't sit well at all with me.
Well, Americans across the country are feeling the fallout from Biden's failed energy policies. And according to the Heartland Institute, households paid over $1,000 more last year, and things are getting worse thanks to the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Now, you think that Biden would harness the power of America's energy producers to cut our reliance on foreign powers, but you'd be wrong. The administration is now halting any new oil and gas drilling on federal lands because of climate change. So what does this actually mean for American consumers? Joining us now is the president and the CEO of the American Petroleum Institute, Mike Sommers. Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. A lot of people concerned about these prices because they've been with us for a while. So what can Americans expect, and how much is this Ukraine-Russia crisis actually impacting gas prices in the U.S.?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on tonight. It's great to be with you. And we, too, are very concerned about a spike in energy prices, both for gasoline, for oil, and for liquefied natural gas because of the crisis in Ukraine and Russia. But let's put this in perspective. At the beginning of this pandemic, the United States was the world energy leader. We still are, and we need to continue to produce more. Unfortunately, as a consequence of some bad policy decisions that we've seen from this administration, we're about 1.6 million barrels of production down every single day in the United States. We need to get that production up. And what we really need is a regulatory environment that encourages American energy leadership, not discourages it, which is a lot of what we're hearing from the administration right now.
Unbelievable. 1.6 million a day. I just want to let's review where we are. If you start the beginning of the administration, day one, they shut down the Keystone pipeline. Now, this is the irony of what they're saying, Mike. This administration is asking OPEC to increase oil production, but they're not asking U.S. producers to increase more. So the question I have for you is, why are they not asking U.S. producers to do more? And if they did, could you deliver for American consumers?
Well, it's very concerning. In fact, less than 48 hours before, the Biden administration, or President Biden himself, asked for more production of oil and natural gas, and that he would do everything he can to lower energy prices. Less than 48 hours before that, the Interior Department put a new moratorium on production on federal lands and on federal waters. We get a lot of production in the United States from federal lands and federal waters. And literally the only place where this president can control where production occurs, they're put a moratorium for new leasing just this weekend. So we're concerned about that regulatory environment, that environment that this administration has pursued in terms of cutting off production. And it's not just what they did with the Keystone XL pipeline. It's not just with the moratorium that was put into place just this weekend, but it was also cutting off access to ANWR. It's also, reversing NEPA reforms that were put in place by the previous administration. We have a hard time developing new energy infrastructure in this country because of a lack of permitting reform. So there are a number of things that they could do tomorrow that would restate the importance of American energy leadership. And we are encouraging them to do that every single day.
Well, I hope they do. Mike, I want to play something for you that Congressman Mike Waltz said on our show yesterday about Russia oil. Listen to this.
Biden's own energy secretary admitted to me in a hearing that Nord Stream 2 and Russian gas is some of the dirtiest form of gas in the world. So the environmental argument doesn't even hold up. American gas is far cleaner.
I mean, what's your reaction to this? If they're shutting down the Keystone because of climate change, won't allow more drilling because of climate change, yet originally he removed sanctions on what was dirty gas.
Well, this is a very important point. The truth of the matter is that we're going to need these supplies for decades and decades to come. In fact, the International Energy Agency recently estimated that half of the energy that we're going to need going forward into 2040 is still going to come from oil and gas, even if every country in the world meets its commitments under the Paris Climate Agreement. We want to make sure that that production comes not from places like Russia, which do not have strict environmental standards in place and do not have producers that adhere to even the environmental standards they do have in place. We want to make sure that oil and gas comes from the United States of America, where we produce it in the most environmentally responsible way possible. And we're supplying over 11 million jobs to the American people through this industry and about 8% of America's GDP. We need to produce more here. We need to secure America as the world energy leader again, because it helps our national security and it helps with American jobs and, of course, helps our economy.
Mike Sommers, appreciate your insight tonight. I hope the administration starts listening to you because we really need to become energy independent again. Thanks for your time this evening.
Thanks so much.
All right. Well, the race is on for President Biden to announce a Supreme Court pick, and it comes amid high-profile cases this year, including a landmark ruling on abortion. We're going to break down what's at stake right after the break.